Hello and welcome back to Humans in Society. This video focuses on the topic Marxism under the subject Disciplines and Ideas in the Social Sciences. There are dominant approaches and ideas used in the scientific study of society. These approaches offer various ways of looking at society and also offer various ways of explaining the things that are happening in it. These approaches also serve as guides or frameworks in doing research in the social sciences. Marxism is a political and economic theory that is concerned with class struggle and class oppression. It is a macro and critical study of society based on the larger paradigm of the conflict theory. Marxism uses the philosophical method called dialectics to explain its central ideas. The two opposing forces in Marxism are the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. Both groups hold consensus that they are in opposition with the other group. The bourgeoisie wants to preserve the status quo, while the proletariat wants to challenge the status quo. Classical Marxism stems from the writings of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Classical Marxism believes that communism is meant to take the place of capitalism and that the proletariat is capable of leading society to communism. It also talks about the concept of historical materialism, which states that consciousness is shaped by the material and economic environment, and that history is a product of the circumstances present at the time. Another important concept from classical Marxism is the structure of society, which talks about the economy or mode of production being the base of society, with the superstructure built on top of it, composed of the government, family, religion, education, and culture. The superstructure will not be able to stand and function properly if the economic base is not strong enough to support it. Therefore, the working class should be the one to hold the power in society. Orthodox communism was founded by the Bolshevik Party during the Russian Revolution in 1917. Its leaders, Vladimir Lenin and Joseph Stalin, added ideas to Marxism that was not in the original concepts of classical Marxism. For Vladimir Lenin, Marxism should have political and economic management and organization. He said that it is not the proletariat, but the communist elite who will start communism. A revolutionary party is needed to lead the proletariat into class consciousness. Joseph Stalin added to Lenin's idea by saying that state collectivization on state socialism should be applied to communism. Communism must have a centrally planned economy supported by political tyranny. The third type of Marxism is Neo-Marxism. It rejects determinism, emphasizes the importance and privileges of proletariat, and states that class struggle is not the beginning and end of class analysis.
Before we continue, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for notifications. Comment below for topics you would like to be discussed in future videos.
Marxism claims that there are 5 levels or stages of society. The first stage is primitive communism. This is the time of the hunting and gathering communities, where there is no sense of ownership, and conflict is only caused by the material scarcity in a certain location. The second stage of society is the slavery stage, which happened during the time of the ancient civilizations. During this period, the conflict in society was between the master and his slave. The third stage of society is feudalism, and during this time, ownership of land is what determines wealth. The conflict during this time is between the landowners and the serfs. The fourth stage of society is capitalism, and this is the stage where we find ourselves in at the present. The conflict during capitalism is between the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. The final stage is what they call the classless society. It is an ideal state where there is no conflict because wealth and land is collectively owned. In order to shift from the capitalism to the socialist society, there must be a social revolution, which involves a change in the mode of production and the system of ownership. And this can be done only through class struggle. Dictatorship of the proletariat is needed to complete the transition from capitalism to communism. Another important concept introduced by Marxism is alienation. This happens when an individual feels separate from his true and necessary value because his work is reduced to a mere commodity. Proletariat experienced alienation in three ways. First, they are separated from the product of their labor, since they work not to support their own needs, but to supply commodities that will be sold for profit. Second, they are separated from their labor because they work under managers using a system devised by the bourgeoisie. And third, they are alienated from their fellow workers because they are expected to be self-interested and focus only on their own station. Another important concept is surplus value. Surplus is the amount of product that exceeds the portion that is needed, which can be utilized for profit. Surplus value is exploited by capitalists by paying workers less than the value of their labor. And finally, there's the concept of false consciousness, where the working class are deceived from their true position as the ones who should control the mode of production. The strength of Marxism lies in that it is able to explain that the conflict is caused by the battle over power to control resources, norms, and values. It also explains the dynamics of social inequality and class oppression through dominance as a macro level analysis of the structures that influence how people behave. Its weaknesses lie in that it focuses too much on the negative situations and disregards the cooperation within society. It emphasizes social conflict rather than social stability. And as a macro level analysis, it disregards the nuances of everyday life. It is a very subjective view of society because it is aiming for social change. The goal of people who believe in Marxism is praxis. This is the process by which a theory is enacted or realized by critically assessing the world and changing the society based on the interests of the working class and not by the interests of the capitalist class. The ideas discussed in this video are based on the content standards of the Department of Education. Thank you for watching and see you in the next lesson.